Welcome to Passages, the podcast where life gets deep, friendship gets real, and the wisdom of the Bible flows, usually right after a debate about tacos and Bigfoot. Join Patrick Birch, Drew Kaiser, Jason Pulliam, and Tim Layton as they explore Scripture, share great quotes, and occasionally get sidetracked by snacks and bad preachers.
Welcome. You're listening to Passages. Tim, Jason, Patrick, and Drew here. And we're excited about another episode. This is episode 70.
Big 7-0.
Round number. Good number. I never thought we'd get this far, guys. I'm just going to be honest with you. I remember when we had our little hand-me-down equipment, and
I had faith in us from the beginning.
And here we are. It's great. I'm enjoying it.
No signs
Glad
of
you
slowing
guys are
down.
along for the ride.
That's right.
We got a busy night ahead of us, so I guess we better get started with it. What do you think?
Sounds good.
I think Tim used a word that I've never heard before we started recording.
I used the word guffaw.
Guffaw.
You've never heard guffaw.
I have
No.
not. It is
Which means to maybe laugh uproariously or
Yeah.
something, right?
a loud and boisterous laugh.
Okay. Okay, so tonight we completed our spring series here at Asheville Road. And so I thought, why don't we do a bit around ranking the speakers for each week and who we liked, who we didn't like. So why don't we just start with
Wait.
what?
We're going to start with the worst?
We'll start with the worst.
The worst,
Who do we
okay.
think was the worst?
Okay, I would like to throw out.
Time out. What are you doing?
It's
do that live?
Yeah, that's a bit.
That's for the break.
Yeah.
That's what we do during the break.
That's a bit within the bit, Drew. We talked about doing that just to see what your reaction would be.
That will be placed in the archives.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Tim had a poker face.
Yeah,
I tried to.
I thought he's really doing
I
this.
tried my best to sell it.
Starting with the worst.
your eyes when you realized what he was about to do, they got real big. Like, are we really doing this? Oh, that's good.
All right, so I'm going to start this evening with I want to talk to all of our passengers who might be in the funeral business.
Oh, that's a big
Oh.
number.
Yeah, so I think it's a large group of our masses out
Morticians out there.
there. Right. So so this is I'm going to speak in reference to a service that Drew and I were both at a few days ago, and this is something that I've seen a couple of times lately, and I just want to get some feedback on. I believe it's an improvement that we can make in the community of mausoleums, crematoriums, etc.
What did they call that thing? The
I think it was an outdoor.
Caba.
Okay, so they had a different name for it than like.
Cabana? No.
That's on a beach.
Oh, that's right.
So it was. So what we're talking about here. So Drew and I went to, and Drew conducted the memorial service for one of the sisters here at church who passed away a couple months ago. She was cremated, and she was laid to rest at the Alabama National Cemetery in Montevallo, which is a really nice cemetery. I mean,
Beautiful.
it really is, and it brings to mind. You know, when you go out there, you ever go by the American Village and just sort of go right past it in Montevallo, the National Cemetery's next, and it looks in a lot of ways like Arlington National Cemetery, with all the white headstones and perfect rows, and it's a beautiful piece of land, and it's taken care of very well. So we and there's something about so Drew spoke at the outdoor pavilion there it's just really neat. I mean, just it's up on the pavilion's up on top of the hill, and then the cemetery is down below. But what I want to talk about tonight, relative to this, is because Sister Ann was cremated, they laid her to rest, and I believe her husband was there already. It's a vault, right? What is it called?
So I looked at Columbarium.
Yep, that's what I was
Columbarium.
saying.
Okay.
Columbarium.
So basically, if you're familiar with like a mausoleum or anywhere where, it's above ground, this basically is, a container of some. I mean, I don't know how
like lockers.
It's basically
Right.
a building with compartments.
Right.
And
Yeah.
the difference between it and a mausoleum is the mausoleum is where you house caskets,
Right.
is what I read.
That's
and
the
this is
difference.
for
Yeah.
urns
So,
and cremated remains.
so my Uncle Gordon and my Aunt Sis, were laid to rest in a mausoleum. And when my aunt was laid to rest, it was indoors. And I mean, they put her in a particular place. The elevator was broken to that area when my uncle passed away. And so they took him and they put him outside in something very similar to the area where they put Sister Ann, except it was big enough for a casket to go in. And then when the elevator to this level was fixed, then they moved him back.
Mhm.
So the day we were there, we went outside, and so this is what I want to talk about is when you think about events around a funeral. So Drew did a great job speaking about Sister Ann, and then we go to this area to place her ashes. And so there's the urn, and they place it in this area. And this was the part that was very similar to when they laid Uncle Gordon to rest. There's basically a guy who is just a plain old, he's a worker there,
Mhm.
right? No problem with him, but he's got his work clothes on.
He's wearing a hat, which
He's wearing a hat.
that kind of bothered me.
Little
I mean, it's-
disrespectful.
Well, and he's just doing his job, right? And
Right.
and I say this about both situations because one of them was at the Alabama National Cemetery. My uncle was laid to rest in I think it was in Clearwater, Florida. Yeah, it was in Clearwater, and so a lot of distance between the two, but the events were very similar, and there's nothing wrong with what I'm about to say, but I want to tell you what happened, right? So there's basically a worker there dressed in his work clothes that he's there for every day. He has an outside job. And there's, so you place either the casket or the urn inside this holding area. And then he pulls out the DeWalt cordless drill.
Mm.
And everybody that's at the funeral is around. And
Yeah.
right. And so, they place the faceplate on, right, which is of substance, right? It's not, and so they start to screw the things in, and then,
So
and I don't know if maybe this was never intended to be like a viewable situation, right? But maybe they told families, hey, if you want to be here, you can stay here for this. But I've been thinking about it, and I think that an improvement to the funeral process would be, you got to do something different than that. Number one, it doesn't need to be the guy in his Carhartts, nothing wrong with Carhartts, love them, right? But it doesn't need to be the
Good
guy
call, Tim.
in his work clothes,
Or he needs to have that done before we
Couldn't you just have a
get there.
drape you close over it and then they come back later?
I think you could just display the faceplate. I was thinking about it in relation to, when we go to a more formal, standard setting, right, where they're going to put him in the ground, you don't, the workers don't come over and start shoveling dirt until
they
go.
They got the backhoe
they don't
ready
roll
to
the-
go.
Yeah,
No,
but
they're
they don't-
ready.
But
Yeah.
they don't drive it up
Right.
while the
But they
family's
don't
still
drive it up. You move away. They,
Yeah.
you go back home.
Yeah,
you go
pack up all
you
the
go and
carpet.
eat.
They got to get all that fake green carpet
Right.
up.
You go eat and you come back and the location is prepared. I think that they haven't thought about this part of the process enough, because either you do it in a little more appropriate setting. So I was thinking
Ceremonial
about,
setting.
right.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe like one of the guys who runs the service, who has a suit on, and maybe you put it up and you have a a key that you turn those bolts with,
or just
enough,
temporarily
enough to get
it
it up, right?
Yeah.
To get it up there and to make it stay and secure it. And then when everybody gets in their car, the guy with the DeWalt comes up and tightens everything
why
up.
everybody was standing around, DeWalt guy comes out and
he was like right there. He was ready to do his job when we all got there. And in both situations that I'm talking about, that was the case. And so
some of these are kind of high up, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh no.
You'd have to have
no
a
doubt.
ladder to get them.
Right.
And he was doing
and
something with
listen,
some surveying equipment. He
had a piece of
that
surveying
complicates
equipment.
matters. I don't know why
he had
it
or what he used it for.
equipment.
Yeah, and it was on a tripod sitting over to the side, and then he
Interesting.
took it and hung it. He hung it
Up on the very top.
right above it.
Wasn't clear what that was
And,
about.
I mean, it's not like he was building the thing. The columbarium had already been built, and he was just taking the faceplate off.
Now, it's very clear that there is a very regimented procedure, because he took like a picture of the urn and a picture of this document and a picture of the faceplate. You want the right person in the right place.
Yeah, you want to make sure you're.
And that was all very,
That felt more technical and legal than ritualistic. And the thing about being at the veteran cemetery, they're so disciplined and everything's just right. And when it comes to a burial and the military honors, it's very reverent and ritualistic. And then I was shocked when we went over to the columbarium and there's this worker out there screwing bolts.
Yeah.
And I'm accustomed to conducting a funeral, going over to the graveside, doing a short graveside prayer or a little thought, scripture reading, something brief. And then we leave and the actual burial takes place. Sometimes families insist on staying and watching the burial, but most families go, and that's what the funeral director encourages them to do. You could follow that pattern.
Yeah, I think
that's
that
why I say, like, put them in, a drapery comes across.
I think that maybe that would be best, right? Is, either, if it's a casket or if it's an urn, you sit it in the spot. You have, a heavy duty easel or wherever you're holding this faceplate sitting there, right? That has the information. And then the guy says, "This concludes our service. You'd like to, leave and come back in 15 minutes.
Please leave.
We'll have," right? Because that guy said these words, but he said it when the worker had completed his task. He was done, right? He was, getting ready to walk away.
How about the family member places the ashes in the columbarium?
I think that.
Now, I was going to say that earlier, and then I remembered that some of those shelves are way up, like
that's true,
more than 6 feet high.
And I think where they put my uncle, I think because that was a mausoleum situation, and so it was the casket, and so I think they put him up high, and I think there was a forklift involved, to raise up to that level. And then they put him in, and then a faceplate on that. Even I think it went in narrow and then deep, and so I think it still was a fairly small, probably not a lot bigger faceplate than it was for that urn, based on the way that it goes in.
Well, guys, when I go, if I go first, y'all will not have to worry about that process. Cassie has already said she is going to spread my ashes in the chicken coop. So,
we're on ashes now. See, Jason, for our passenger, Jason's been talking about his funeral arrangements for the last 20 years.
Well, I have seen the cost
it's evolved.
Of it. Yeah, I've seen the cost. I'm thinking cremation is the better direction to go in.
So we're not doing the Chick-fil-A platter anymore?
Oh, no, we're going to still have a Chick-fil-A platter. It's just not going to be on my chest like I had planned in the casket.
Yeah, it's good to know it'll still be there.
You will not be standing around hungry because we'll have a Chick-fil-A platter.
Maybe actually, like where the casket would have been, could just sort of be sort of a
cornucopia,
like chicken nuggets in the shape of a casket.
But Cassie's made it clear Mash is going in the chicken coop for a dust bath. So we'll see if that happens.
Wow,
yeah.
That's ruthless.
Can we also talk about how
the circle of life, Drew?
Can we also talk about how funny the word columbarium is?
It sounds like a test.
Like you're going to bury them in a column.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like a clinical exam or something to me.
So I'd just like to close this out by saying,
thanks for starting this off. Chipper,
but I would like to recommend a revisit by the funeral community.
Yes,
on this part of the process.
This is an appeal.
I think it can be approved.
Public service, if you will. Yeah. Tim is asking all morticians, funeral directors, men of the cloth, to re-examine our columbarium
come together
rituals.
At least
least have one.
At least have a Carhartt suit on that guy.
Yeah, they may. I'm sure they make that. Isn't that what John Fetterman wears?
What would a Carhartt suit look like? A regular suit, just in
I don't know.
Carhartt.
It'd be look tough
like
and durable.
At the National Cemetery, wouldn't it have been cool for a guy in a uniform that had this like ornate key? You know, he places the faceplate up there, and he.
But anything would be better than a
D-wall. Something like that.
Right.
I mean, I was really shocked when we went over and that handyman was working on the. Did something break and nobody told this guy? And then I realized, that's where we're putting Miss Ann. Although it wasn't going that fast, he was taking his time.
Yeah,
he was getting paid by the hour. You could tell.
I've never seen that happen. Yeah. So, now. I know she was at the National Cemetery. Her husband was a veteran, I assume.
Yes.
But she did not have the military honors with taps or anything like that.
No.
I was curious how they did that with family members.
And while we're on it, let me just remind about the previous call to change. Let's start playing taps for real again.
Yeah.
Get those speakers and the MP3 players out of our bugles and let's play taps.
Yeah.
Let's bring humanity back in the age of AI somewhere.
Let me just
please.
Say, as a former trumpet player,
trumpeter,
I believe.
I like trumpeter. I like that a lot.
Nerd.
So,
sorry.
On the 8th day, God made band. You got a T-shirt that says that, Tim?
I might. Listen, I'm a proud Montford marching troubadour. I'll tell you that much. But taps, not a difficult song, right?
Yeah.
Basically you hold down the first and third valve and you play the song.
Yeah.
Or, variation, first valve, and you play the song. That's it, right? It does not take Louis Armstrong to play taps.
Yeah, we're not talking about when the Saints go marching in
right.
here.
Do you know, I almost bought a bugle at a flea mall about 2 weeks ago because I wanted to wake my kids up playing Reveille every morning.
But that's a little tougher, right?
A little
so you're going to have to
pace.
learn.
But Cassie, she shut it down. She was like, "You're not buying a bugle." It was only going to be like $25. And
oh man!
But I didn't know who.
We could have used it on the show.
Yeah,
I'm sure we could do something.
If I find another, I might get it just to have you come in and play for us. Yeah.
We'll see what kind of air's left in the lungs.
Not much.
Not much. All right, Jason, over to you.
All right, so I have two quick hitting stories that I want to bring up. One was something disturbing I saw in the news this week. This is not about my family member, which I'll bring up in a minute. This first one is about. Did y'all hear about the collision between the Mexican Navy ship and the Brooklyn Bridge?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find it interesting that their naval vessel was under sail? It was a giant sailboat. I
saw the mast.
I didn't exactly understand that.
The sails unfurled.
Yeah. I mean, it was basically
was puzzled by that whole thing.
A ship from like the 1800s.
But it was there preparing for
1700s?
No, it was built in 1980 something.
No.
Come on.
But it looks like a ship.
It looks like a ship.
It's modeled after
a
ship. Yeah.
Also,
it was in preparation for the
some kind of a
I always mess this up, Tim. Bicentennial?
250 years.
Yeah, what is
quintillion centillion tiddlywink.
By quinticentennial.
Right. So the bicentennial was 76, right? That was the 200.
Yeah.
So what is 250? What is 250?
By quinticentennial.
Sesquicentennial?
I think there's bi and sesqua in it.
Semi-quincentennial.
No.
Samsonite. I was way off.
Semi-quin.
That can't be it.
Centennial. Semi-quincentennial.
Semi-quincentennial.
Anyway,
it
had sails.
It was just interesting when they kept referring to it as their naval vessel.
It also looked like it was decorated with Christmas lights.
It was. It's like, how do you sneak up on somebody with that?
Man, Spain is way behind the times.
You better turn those lights off.
It's like, we have got to work on upgrading the Navy. That's a wooden-hulled ship.
Now, was it our ship or was it a Spanish ship?
No, it was a Spanish ship.
It was a Mexican ship.
Oh, Mexican.
It was Mexico, yeah.
And they were on this tour, like, promoting.
And there's some race they
joined the
compete
Mexican
with.
army or something, I think.
But they said they would use it as a training cruise for cadets. I would think not since like the movie Master and Commander was that setting of that time was made that we've really trained people on a vessel that sails. I mean,
It basically was a pirate ship.
arr. Yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway, it was one of those things I saw in the news this week that just threw me off. Just threw me off.
And so
it's a little weird.
So they lost control, and then it basically hit part of the bridge and just broke the top off of it or whatever.
And 2 sailors did die in it.
Yeah,
so, I mean, I'm not making light of that part of it at all, but it was just strange to me. They kept referring to it as a naval vessel, and you see it, and it's like got 3 or 4 masts.
Yeah,
it's like, this is strange.
They're saying that it appears to have gotten stuck in reverse because it was under.
Back up, Terry!
It was under. We have a button for that. I'm not quick enough for it. It was under power, not under sail, and it had a tugboat assisting it, but the tugboat was on the wrong side.
See, here we go again with an ancient device.
Yep.
With hidden modern technology, just like the bugle with the speaker in it, playing taps. Here we go. Look what happens.
Can we check just a little bit to see if there was a new recent version of Mountain Dew that was released that could be tied to this?
Oh, that is a good point.
I just want to.
I don't know, but
want to have some thought about that.
I'm glad to see the Brooklyn Bridge wasn't damaged. They said there was zero damage to the Brooklyn Bridge. That is an iconic bridge. So.
Better than ever.
Yeah.
They're like
anyway,
Sombrero Blast or
there.
Easy.
There is the Baja Cabo Citrus.
Oh, Cabo.
Oh, called it.
There it is.
And also,
we took our eye
the
off the
Baja
ball.
Midnight. That was the one that was real controversial to that one guy studying this. Mm-hmm. The Baja Midnight's coming out, exclusive to Taco Bell.
But we
visit your local Taco Bell.
Yeah, I'd rather not.
Quiero taco.
I like life. All right, so my second story. I'm going to start reading this article. This actually hits very close to home because it involves a family member. A North Carolina man has recalled the terrifying moment a coyote suddenly jumped him, saying he only survived by managing to choke it for 10 minutes until it finally died. This individual said he was having a smoke outside of his home in Roxborough late Friday when he suddenly felt like something was watching him. I've had that feeling before. Have y'all ever had that feeling? That's a creepy feeling.
Absolutely.
I just felt like he was hunting me or something, this person said. Moments later, moments later, a coyote emerged from the woods and charged at him. And eventually the man choked the coyote out. But I actually have the soundbite of him recounting his story. So I want you to hear my uncle, distant cousin perhaps, James Pulliam, tell his story. James Pulliam tell this story.
For the first time since coming home from the hospital, James Pulliam showing us where it all went down.
By the time I turned right here, he probably right here, coming this way. So I'm like, oh, Lord.
He says he was standing in his usual smoke break spot when something fell off.
I felt something watching me the whole time anyway. It was like, I just felt like he was hunting me or something.
Moments later, out of the woods came a coyote.
And I kicked him when he jumped the first time. I'm like, oh. When I got right here, I tried to kick him again. I fell and crawled all the way back here. I picked up rocks, throwing it at him.
When James hit the ground, the coyote closed in.
He jumped on me, and I caught him in the air. And he was like he was trying to bite. So when I threw him down, and I'm trying to slide out the way, but it wasn't no way. He just kept coming.
He tried yelling, but it didn't work. That's when he knew this was turning into a fight for his life.
Then I had to rip my left hand out of his mouth. And then when I got my left hand out, I just just choked him, just all the way till the police got there.
He says even then, after 10 minutes, he wanted to make sure the coyote was dead so it couldn't attack anyone else in his neighborhood.
I was hoping ain't no more out there, because, ain't no telling when, or if it happened again, it might not be nobody around to help.
James went to the hospital for the injuries on his left hand. He's doing all right, but he needs to go back for more antibiotics.
Oh, they took x-rays and then gave me the rabies shots. That hurt worse than the attack.
Now back home, the legend already spreading.
Yeah, people ain't gonna believe it, though. They're gonna think I'm lying.
A neighborhood hero no coyote will want to mess with.
Yeah.
I mean, I was afraid, don't get me wrong, but it's just like, it's either me or him,
So I reached out.
I think he's lying too.
So I reached out to
You don't talk about Cousin James like that.
I reached out to my cousin James.
Far-fetched story.
And the article says I was afraid, don't get me wrong, but it's either him or me.
That hurt worse than the attack.
But he survived a coyote attack, which is a rare thing. In fact, I'll show y'all, since we can't show it to the listeners. There's the picture of the coyote he choked out.
Wow.
And I'll show you the picture of Uncle James, Cousin James. Let's see if I can find it.
He choked a coyote to death.
That
man, I would kill for a video.
He definitely kind of looks like he's on Dad's side of the family.
I'm just seeing an ad.
Oh, I hate ads. Oh no, man, this was so much better when I didn't have the ad pop up. Let's see. I get back to it. Oh, there we go. Right there. He looks a lot like Dad. I think. Yeah.
Dead ringer.
Yeah.
Now he is from the Keisha Knight Pullum side of the family. She was on the Cosby Show.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But I'm glad to know that no matter what state the Pullums live in, we do not take coyotes lying down.
Your dad Jimmy has a brother named James.
No, Dad is James. This is his. It's not his brother. Like I said, I think it's more of a cousin, twice removed.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
Maybe a few more than twice, Jason.
I don't know
Maybe
which
thrice.
story is more far
Maybe
fetched.
thrice removed.
James Pullums or Jason Pullums?
Do you know how few people have that exact same spelling of the last name? It's exactly the same. Pulliam. I mean, it's got to be family.
Gotta be.
I'm sure if you go back far enough, you'll find a connection.
My goal is to now, we have coyotes on our property. My goal is to reenact this, and without getting bitten. I don't want a rabies shot.
No.
But
I think you could start a new sport. Coyote choking. It's open season, there's no law against it.
The way the burn pile went off the other night, I'm surprised we didn't scare any coyotes off our property. We had a little small explosion on the property the other night. We were burning some brush and may have applied a little too much accelerant.
When we'll save the video of that until we begin our video podcast.
Because there was a shockwave.
There is quite a video of Sam Pullum coming out of the fire.
Yeah. Cassie called from the house and was like, what was that loud noise?
Sam sure did look cool just walking away and something exploding
He
behind
wasn't
him.
even running, though.
Yeah, he didn't even turn around. He just walking straight away from it.
Like that scene in Tombstone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome.
But anyway,
hey, you know how to lure a coyote?
How do you do that?
I'm sure there are a variety of ways. You could put your toddler out in the yard, but I don't recommend that. Cantaloupe. They love cantaloupe.
Really?
We grew cantaloupe growing up in Texas. We had coyotes everywhere in Texas, and we wake up in the morning, the cantaloupe would be busted open all over the yard. They wait for it to get ripe.
Well, that'd be
they
kinder
love cantaloupe.
I guess that'd be kinder than chaining chickens out in the yard to try to lure them in.
Yeah.
Cassie, I haven't really done that.
So let's just put some cantaloupe in your backyard and then
just see what
have
happens.
a coyote choking contest.
Pick the one you want to choke.
I mean, these hands, I think I could take it. Yeah.
All right. To be continued.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's a deal. I just heard Jason make a deal.
Yep.
So.
And think about when that story happens and then they chain it together with the James Pullum story.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking we're going to have a family reunion over this story, really.
Passages will be live on scene to document this.
This is what you do at your family reunion.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
Coyotes.
The coyote wrestling contest.
But kids, if you're listening, we don't smoke in my part of the family. We don't have to take a smoke break. I would just have to be taking a water break.
Okay.
A water break.
So
short breather.
What if
I'd be hitting the inhaler, kids.
Opp, Alabama's known for the rattlesnake rodeo. How about, Moody, Kerr Road becomes the home of the coyote
Coyote wrestling. Oh, we could sell
Wrestling.
tickets to that.
Wrestling.
Wrestling's too appropriate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wrestling. Jason, I have a callback to a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah. Are you going to call me out on something I said?
No.
Oh, okay.
If you'll remember, you brought a story about some crazy people trying to dim the sun.
You can't dim the sun. You kept telling me that.
You can't, but they're going to try.
Okay.
And they have the UK government has approved 5 experiments.
So this is the UK still doing this.
This is the UK.
Guys, let's work on brushing our teeth before we try dimming the sun, okay?
I'm going to tell you the 5 experiments that they've approved.
All right.
And they're not dimming the sun.
No, you can't dim the sun.
They're doing something to reflect more sunlight, I guess.
Yeah. They're dimming the sunlight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Experiment number 1. They're going to pump seawater onto the top of Arctic ice in Canada to make the ice thicker so it will last longer over the summer.
But what about the ice melting because of global warming? I mean, isn't the new Arctic sea ice just going to melt?
I don't know. I guess it.
Well, we've shot that one down.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the next one?
Move it.
Well, the idea is
Stinking
that it
Brits.
has melted, so they're going to make more
They're
by
gonna make more
pumping.
so it lasts longer.
That's about as
So
smart
maybe
as
in
their
the freezing cycle, you're making
Right.
the glaciers bigger.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
about as smart as having your soldiers wear red uniforms with white crosses in front of them in a line
that was
during the
also a British
Revolutionary
idea.
War. Yeah, you know what? Let's put a target on their chest and line them up.
Shoot at the X.
Sorry, that was a little dark.
All right. Experiment number 2.
Mm.
And I'm just reading them.
Okay.
Possibly, if indoor tests prove promising. So first of all,
2 conditions
Yeah.
already.
We're already at a less than 10% chance of this working.
but indoor,
Indoor,
no
yeah.
sun indoor. In 3 years' time, spraying seawater into the air above the Great Barrier Reef off the coast of Australia to brighten the marine cloud layer.
Huh?
Okay.
Just spray it up in the air.
So that's that's making more clouds.
Make more clouds, I think.
I bet somebody that has a pumping company has come up with that plan. Yeah.
Now, where is that located?
The Great Barrier Reef is Australia, off the coast of Australia.
Australia is into. Are they still?
Are they under British rule?
Yeah,
I think so.
I think they are.
I'm gonna have
so
to
the
pop a
Brits
Google
can
on
go
that.
down and do whatever they want to down under. Down under.
There's still a relationship, but it doesn't Australia have its own?
It is a fully independent nation with its own government and constitution, but the British monarch is still head of state in Australia.
Okay, guys, the British monarch is the biggest fake thing
Yeah,
since pumping water into the atmosphere.
fully independent under the British.
It does
Yeah.
say the monarch does not have any real power over the country.
No, he
So
just
if I'm
has
in
tea
Australia,
and
I'm gonna say you
crumpets.
take your fire hoses back up to the UK. We don't want them.
I bet the Australians sink their battleship if they come down there to try to do that. I'm just saying.
Or just run it into a bridge.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah.
We know what Navy's not going to defend it.
Experiment number 3.
Number 3.
Similar to experiment 2,
Hmm.
spraying seawater into the air, initially only for a few seconds, location not specified, but presumably in British waters.
Okay, so how high are we spraying it? Is it like everybody in Britain has a spritzer bottle and they're like, psst, or are we
They
shooting
have
it?
a lot of faith in seawater.
Everything has to go with seawater, right? I mean, it's interesting.
It says initial test, if approved, would be very limited, lasting only a few seconds and creating small plumes of seawater spray just a few hundred meters in size.
Okay, so we have this thing on the planet Earth. I think it was Isaac Newton talked about it, called gravity.
Mm-hmm.
So if we spray seawater up into the air, isn't it just going
to fall
back to Earth? I mean,
Well,
even
they're
the
trying to make
evaporative
clouds,
stuff,
though, right?
Yeah, I think they're again trying to make clouds.
They're
Yeah.
just
Because
all of
the-
these pretty much have been
because the UK
making
needs
clouds.
more clouds and more rain. Brilliant.
like Tim pointed out. If you
Brilliant.
watch TV, London is usually pretty cloudy and rainy.
Well, and polluted. I mean, that's why they have chimney sweeps there.
That's right.
I saw it.
Dick Van Dyke has been trying to clean his face. He cannot get the soot off his face.
Experiment number 4.
Oh, I hope this is better. So far, these have been total duds.
Planned outdoor tests to use electric charge to cause fog or cloud droplets to clump together.
That's what we need is clumpy fog.
Yep.
Are they idiots?
Using an electric charge.
Mm-hmm. This appears to be an extension of previous research using battery-powered drones.
Well, I hope they're not using coal-fired plants to get that electric charge going, because that's just gonna.
Well, they can't use the sun; they're going to dim it. They have no solar power.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. How does this work with solar power? That's a good one.
Experiment number 5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking up a quick, see if I can find okay. Testing of potential stratospheric aerosol injection materials that could be safer than the proposed sulfates. This would involve carrying milligram amounts of mineral dust into the stratosphere to see how they are affected. No material would be released. It would be returned in balloons.
I'm serious. Did they get a room full of morons to come up with? I think the 4 of us could come up with a better plan than this.
Listen,
so I heard
leave the sun alone.
Clearly, the company that came up with these ideas and pitched these ideas are also going to execute and charge the UK government for this.
Tim, they do mention how much money was awarded to each of these experiments.
And?
Oh, this is going to be bad.
Experiment number 1, creating Arctic ice, 9.9 million pounds over 42 months.
Isn't it like $7 though?
I don't know what the exchange rate is.
I don't either.
Experiment number 2, spraying seawater into the air, 1 million pounds over 5 years.
To spray seawater in the air.
Potentially rising to 5 million, depending on results. Experiment number 3, 6.1 million pounds over 3 years in the initial phase.
They're not even having to pay for the water.
Yeah.
Water's putting free. A pump out into the ocean.
I don't know. Birmingham Waterworks might try to go put a meter on that.
I guarantee you Jefferson County Sewer will do something with it.
So basically all you got to do is go down to Lowe's, buy a sprinkler. It creates your plume.
All right. So
one in the sun, cool the earth.
1 million pounds sterling is equal to $1.34 million.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Experiment number 3. No, we already did number 3.
4.
Experiment number 4, 2 million pounds over 36 months.
Okay.
And number 5, 5.5 million pounds over 36 months. So they're spending quite a lot of money to basically spray water.
And that last one was spraying aerosol into a balloon.
Well, it does make sense.
Not releasing it, but
not
letting
releasing
the balloon come back.
I have noticed that at the splash pad with all the kids getting water up into the air, it's a lot cooler over there at the splash pad. I don't know if y'all have noticed that.
It's evaporation.
It's probably
be.
Yeah,
it's global cooling.
It's the water getting into the atmosphere, I'm sure.
Why don't we build more splash pads? Save the earth.
Yeah. Well, we would, but that would eat up room for pickleball courts. And, you know, when it comes down to it, can't do that.
That's crazy talk.
Not as crazy. That's not nearly as crazy as the 5 British ideas he just threw out.
Nice.
Keep us updated. I like having the update on this.
I do too.
Because this idea just really chaps my hide. The idea that the Brits can change the earth without everybody else's permission. I mean, we're a little bit bigger country than they are.
Oh, their population is tiny.
You can't just decide you're going to turn the thermostat down on Mother Earth.
You know what these?
You don't even have good
these
projects. So what about the rest of us?
These projects call for Doge.
Yes.
Shut them down in
Elon's next project, maybe.
UK Doge.
Yeah. All right.
Well, speaking of global warming, Drew.
I've got an idea here. We'll see how it goes. What I wanted to do is I wanted to take a quote, a famous, not one of our passages, but some well-known thing from pop culture. Run it through ChatGPT, asking it to do it in the style of different personalities. So I decided on a Star Wars quote that's pretty well known by everybody. Here's the initial quote. This is from Yoda. I think most of our listeners will recognize this. Go ahead and play it.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Very wise. Do or do not. There is no try. Okay, so, we're going to run through different styles of people. So the first one, let's do a little Seinfeld. I'm not a good impersonator, but here you go. What is trying anyway? You either do it or you don't. There's no middle ground. You don't go to a restaurant and say, I'll try the soup. No, you eat the soup or you don't eat the soup. What is this trying nonsense? Who came up with that? Jedi procrastinators?
We're going to get a cease and desist just for that right there, Drew. Yeah. That was perfect.
Yeah.
I should have practiced it. That was the first time I ever tried to do a Seinfeld.
I closed my eyes for a minute, and I thought I was in this room with
Jedi procrastinators! Okay, that was just a warm-up. Like I got some others.
All right.
So let's get presidential here.
Can you speak can you do an impersonation of everyone?
Every one of them. Oh, Drew, come on.
I'm not good at this kind of thing.
Oh, we know. I mean, no, you're great.
I thought that was a pretty good.
It wasn't bad.
Seinfeld.
I like your impersonation.
Who came up with that? Okay. All right. So let's get presidential. You know, everybody's got a Donald Trump impersonation. Sure. So we ran it through here with Donald Trump. Here we go. Look, folks, it's very simple. I'm not doing this well. You either do it or you don't do it. There is no try. Trying's for losers, okay? I don't try, I win. Everybody says so. The best people don't try, they do. The Jedi, great guys, but even they know, no try. Total waste of time.
That sounded like a New York cabbie doing an impersonation
I don't know why the
Trump.
cabbie guy can...
Like, yeah, come here, guys.
I can't get my... If you're asking me to do something I don't do.
No, you're good.
No, we're enjoying it.
You're good.
This is radio gold.
I can't wait.
Let's do a little Shakespeare.
Ooh.
Oh, Shakespeare.
Oh, Bill Shakespeare.
To do or not to do, there is no try. The will must act or else it falleth still. For in the breast where purpose doth not lie, the deed lies dead, though spoken of with will.
Wow,
that was beautiful.
I've only heard
keep the strings going.
Yeah. I've only heard one other person in modern times speak with that type of proper English.
Really?
Yeah. Just
you
one.
Leave the person unnamed?
Yeah, I probably should.
Okay, that's good. Thanks for dropping that detail in there.
Yeah,
very interesting information.
You know who I'm talking about, and I'll bring it up at the break.
Okay. All right. Have you heard of Jordan Peterson? This Jordan Peterson guy.
I saw him in concert.
World's most famous, something
like that.
Public lecture tour, I think is what he does. Very popular psychologist. He's a Canadian, eh? Well, look. This idea of trying without commitment, it's deeply flawed. You either integrate the responsibility into your being and do the thing, or you don't. There's no existential merit in half-hearted attempts. Saying, I'll try, is often a way to shield yourself from the burden of failure. But you have to voluntarily shoulder that burden.
Is that your impression of a Canadian?
That's where meaning is. So, do or do not, but be honest about it. Be honest about it. Boot it. Be honest about it.
Boot it. There you go.
See, I should have practiced.
Great job.
No, I like it on the fly.
You're doing great. You're doing great. This is awesome.
I would have known that exactly.
Have you ever heard Jordan Peterson?
No.
He has a very weak voice.
I just like the fact that in my head now I think that's what you think Canadians sound like.
That's actually not a bad Jordan Peterson.
It was pretty good.
Thank you. I wish I could redo the Trump, but
no.
I need to hear him. Going from one to the other is hard.
Yep.
Going from Jerry Seinfeld to Donald Trump.
I couldn't do any of them. I'm impressed with your abilities so far.
How about a little Dr. Phil?
Dr. Phil.
Now listen, either you're gonna do it or you're not. There ain't no trying your way through life. Try is what people say when they're already planning to quit. You don't try to brush your teeth. You either do it or you end up with a mouth full of regret. So make a decision. Own it, do it, or don't, but stop kidding yourself. How's that working for you? I put that last one.
Yeah. Is there a little bit of David Lipe in Dr. Phil?
That had a hint
little
of
bit,
David
yeah.
Just
Lipe,
a little bit. I mean,
bit.
you know, and then you
Foghorn,
gotta
Leghorn.
throw some Texas on it or something
Yeah.
at the end of it. But
Yeah.
there was some of that in there.
All right, now
That
for
was very
something
good.
completely different.
right.
In the rugged prose of Ernest Hemingway.
Mm.
Oh, this is good, yeah. He looked at the boy. Do it, he said, or don't. Well, I wasn't expecting the drums. What is this? Is not Ernest Hemingway?
Hemingway is rolling over in his grave right now.
Just let me do it with it. Let me do it with no music on this one.
I searched YouTube for Ernest Hemingway music. It was the first thing that came up.
That's some song
Yeah,
called
there's
Ernest
something,
Hemingway.
right.
It's called A Song for Ernest Hemingway.
It was emo or something.
Yeah. I'm very
Okay,
sad
here
now.
goes. Quiet on set.
Sorry.
He looked at the boy. Do it, he said, or don't. The wind moved through the trees. There is no try. The boy nodded. He understood. There was nothing else to say. It's good. I like that one.
I'm glad you held that in. Until
Here's
after
where
it
I'm
was
going to
done.
get in trouble. I'm going to get in big trouble on this one. I'm going to do Stephen A. Smith.
All right.
boy.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me tell you something right now. Do or do not. There is no try. I don't want to hear about effort. I don't want to hear about intentions. This ain't about trying. This is about results. You either step up like a Jedi or you sit down like a scrub. And don't get me started on these so-called Padawans out here talking about, I'll give it a shot. A shot? You better give it everything. Or don't even show up in the galaxy, my brother.
Oh, that's so good. That is so
heard a
good.
little Foghorn Leghorn in there.
You did some work on that one.
No, that's the
did
first
some
time I
work
ever
on
tried Stephen
Stephen
A.
A.
But I felt like there were times where I hit it. I missed
Oh,
most
yeah.
of
There were
a
ti-
couple
yeah.
times.
Guys, these 70
This ain't
episodes
about trying.
were a lot of fun, but I'm afraid we're about to get shut down.
Padawan is fun to say in a Stephen A.
He sounded a little like my
And don't
cousin
get me
James.
started on these so-called Padawans out here talking about I'll give it a shot.
We're going to have to go get the defibrillator for Jason.
That one got me. Hemingway was great. That one just wrecked me.
I'm putting Stephen A. right now at the number one.
Yep, me too.
Okay.
There's no doubt.
Now listen, y'all are coming up with some people I can put in the computer, right?
yeah.
okay,
Oh,
okay.
absolutely.
Because I still got a few. Okay, let's do a little Matthew McConaughey. And this is remember the Lincoln Continental commercials? Mm-hmm. I've been driving a long time through choices, chances, galaxies. And somewhere along the way, folks started saying they'd try to change, try to be better, try to make it right. Trying, man, that's just a way to circle the lot without ever parking. You either do or you don't. Because when you're staring down the twin sun setting over a dusty planet, lightsaber humming in your hand, the Force don't care about trying. It wants a decision. Tapping the dashboard. Yoda said it best. Do or do not. There is no try.
Oh, that is so good.
That's
Lincoln,
That
the Force is
that-
with you.
and just pure quality that goes to my number one. Yeah.
That was a good script.
That was great, but it did not unseat.
It could be
Stephen
a
A.
one,
Smith.
maybe a 1B. No. In pure humor, Stephen A. Smith, it may be the thing that shuts us down.
Yeah. Well, hold on.
Hold on.
'Cause I don't know. I don't even know if I want to do this one.
Jason, I am looking at the list, the cue list for the music.
I'm
and
seeing stars in my side vision. This
just
is not
wait.
Good.
Okay.
All right. What you got?
Snoop Dogg.
All right.
Should I do it?
D-O-double-G, bring it on.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Yeah. What?
This is how it is.
Hey, yo, listen up, young Jedi. Oh, it's singing. Oh, don't play that song. I don't know any Snoop Dogg song, but I've heard that one's not nice.
It was the radio edit.
I don't care. You can't do a radio edit on something like that.
I'm sweating so bad.
You got something without it. Okay, here we go.
All right, here we go. Yeah.
I can't do this one with Snoop. Okay. Yo, listen up, young Jedi. Either roll up and do it, or you step back and don't. Ain't no trying, man. That's just stalling in disguise, you dig? The Force don't play no halfway games. You gotta commit, like you gotta commit to a beat. Clean, smooth, and full of soul. So quit tripping, quit hesitating, and handle your biz, nephew.
Nice.
Okay, you better turn that off before.
Oh my goodness.
All right, what you got?
Tracy Morgan?
All right, yeah.
I don't know. Man, you either do it or you don't do it. Ain't no try, okay? It's like saying you tried not to eat the whole cheesecake. I've been there. You don't try to be a Jedi. You become one, baby. Yoda's not playing with you. He's 900 years old and still lifting spaceships with his mind. I can't even lift my laundry without pulling something.
Jason.
Oh, I can't breathe.
I'm going to have to clean that microphone.
Oh, yeah.
All right, that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to lose my job.
Oh, that was great. You did awesome.
Is anybody else sweating really bad?
Okay, who do we got?
How about Eddie Murphy?
Okay.
I need Gomer Pyle.
Ooh, Gomer Pyle.
Foghorn Leghorn.
And y'all are reading the ones you suggest, right?
No.
Eddie Murphy?
Absolutely not.
I just think of the donkey in Shrek.
Yes.
That's my main reference
All right,
point.
go for it.
It's spitting it out. It's fresh off the press. I'm glad we're not doing this live. Let me tell you something, man. Yoda come up to you, little green dude with the ears and the robe, right? He don't even walk right. He floating around like a levitating on wisdom. He look at you squinting real serious and he say, do or do not. There's no try. And you stand there like, wait, what? I just said I was going to try to lift a spaceship. And Yoda's like, nah, this ain't trying time. This is doing time, baby. He like one of them uncles that don't play. You tell him you're trying to get a job and he going to be like, try. Or you better do something before I use the Force to smack that excuse out your mouth. I can't talk as fast as he does. Who'd you say, Gomer Pyle?
Oh, Gomer Pyle needs to be there, yeah.
I type slow. Gomer Pyle. Great radio right here. All right, Gomer Pyle. Shazam! All right, here we go. It's coming out. Now, Julie tells me not to say this word.
Uh-oh.
Golly.
But that's
a euphemism.
that is Gomer. I mean,
Well, Julie listens to the podcast. I can't do it.
all right.
Oh, hold on.
No.
Wait.
What?
All right, go ahead and say it, and we'll take care of it. Go ahead.
Huh?
Go.
No.
Yeah, read it like it's...
Okay. All right, ready?
Mhm.
All right.
Now, what Master Yoda said was real simple, like. He said, that ain't going. I'm not doing a good... Okay.
I thought you
Do
nailed it.
or do not. There ain't no try. Ain't that something? Andy? I mean, land sakes, that little green feller's right. You don't try to stop the Death Star. You either do it or you kaboom. No in between. No, sir. Kind of like back home when I was fixing to patch a tire. Can't just try to do it, or you end up sitting in the ditch waiting for Cousin Goober. That one wasn't very good.
I thought it was great.
I'm
I'm actually really upset nobody's going to get to hear the first part of that because we had to censor it for Julie.
I'm just trying to get my lungs to work again.
Yeah,
right
we're going to
now
have to
at
get
this
that
moment.
defibrillator. I'm convinced, Jason. Please don't fall out.
I don't need to check my blood pressure or heart rate right now.
You get
We
one?
still had Foghorn Leghorn, right?
Oh, I think Foghorn Leghorn needs to be there. I say. I'm trying to think of some other iconic characters.
Can you do a British accent?
you've heard me tonight. You know I can't do much of anything.
Oh, you
I say.
Been.
Now, hold on just a cotton-picking minute. I say, you either do the thing or you don't do the thing. There ain't no try, boy. Try is what you say when you're looking to weasel out a commitment, like saying, I'll try not to eat the last biscuit. Ha! You ever see a Jedi try? No, sir. They raise that hand and the spaceship comes right on out the swamp. That's doing, son. That's doing. Now get out there and use the Force before I tan your hide with a lightsaber. I say, a lightsaber.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
How about a James Earl Jones?
Oh. And then I have a
peace.
great one.
I don't have the voice for this one.
Do you need the? Oh wait.
Oh wait. Yes, you do.
Oh, I don't know if it'll be.
You must understand this. You will either do or you will not. There is no try. Trying is the illusion of effort without the courage of commitment. Stand, act, decide. Because in this life, hesitation is the enemy of destiny.
That was more like James Earl Jones doing a Kylo Ren impersonation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
All right, Patrick, bring it.
Sorry.
Could you perhaps do Christopher Walken?
Ooh. And then Sean Connery.
Oh, yes.
Should okay. You're just wanting me to do a walk. This has turned into wanting me to do like the impersonation.
I
love
that's all this is. Like Christopher Walken.
I was looking at the scripts.
At this
don't
point,
care what it
I'm
says.
looking up hard people to do.
Listen, you either you do it or you don't. Okay? There's no try. Try is like saying you might jump out of the plane, but you're still in the plane, pal. Yoda, small guy, green, very wise. He's not talking about effort. He's talking about commitment, about the Force, real serious stuff. No maybes, no kinda, sorta. You do or you don't. That's the deal. Capiche?
That's
Drew,
that is my favorite one right there.
Why are you
Well,
not
no,
doing
that's not
voice
me.
acting, Drew?
No, come on. Y'all
All
are
right,
just.
Sean Connery.
Or
And then
should I put Sean Connery or James Bond?
Oh, I think it needs to be the
'Cause-
Sean Connery
Sean
James
Connery.
Bond.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we want it definitely want it to be.
repeat.
Okay, Connery / James Bond.
If you could work the term money penny into this at any point.
We'll see. We'll see. I've got to get warmed up here. Let me make this perfectly clear. You either do the blasted thing or you don't. There is no try. Trying is for amateurs. And I don't deal in maybes. I deal in results. Whether it's disarming a bomb, charming a villain, or levitating a starfighter, you act decisively. Anything less, and you're already losing the game, my dear Jedi. Vodka martini, shaken, not stirred. Bond. James Bond.
All right, I got one more. Al Pacino.
Oh, man. I opened the door.
You did. You asked for requests.
Hoo-ha! I can't do that. Let me tell you something, kid. You either do it or you don't do it. Oh, there's a cuss word in it. There is no try. Try? Try is what people say when they want to sound busy, but ain't doing anything. You think the galaxy waits for you to try? Ha! The Force don't care about excuses. You get in there. You make a move and you commit. Like your life depends on it, because maybe it does, huh? You want to be a Jedi? Then act like it. Do. Or step aside for someone who will. Hoo-ha! Hoo-ha! It's been a while since I've
Can we
seen anything
hear?
with Al
Can we
Pacino
hear
in
a
it.
real Al Pacino? Just
Yeah, that would help.
3 minutes
See, that's
to the
pretty
biggest
good.
battle of our professional lives.
I think you nailed
All
it.
comes down to today.
Yeah, I think you did great.
You might
Guys, I'm
should
so
have
hot
smoked
I'm
a little
fogging my
before-
glasses up.
before just for
yield.
the raspy voice, but
As a team, we're going to crumble.
That was radio gold right there.
I
That's
nearly,
fine. I hope we didn't play it out too far.
I nearly had a coronary.
Not
about
too
halfway
far for in the room here.
Nope.
Yeah,
it was great.
I have enjoyed doing this podcast with y'all.
yeah, we're gonna have to do a little
the end.
chest compression on Jason though. His we're gonna have
Oh
to keep
man, I
him
got
breathing over
laughing
here.
so hard. I'm so hot right now.
Well, should we take a quick break and come back to our passages?
I need a decaf. So,
All right, we'll be back in a few.
All right, we are back, and it's time for our passage this evening. And this passage comes from John C. Maxwell. It's been a little while since we've done a Maxwell quote. And I believe, if I read correctly, that this quote comes out of the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, maybe. And so here's the quote for this evening. Of course, John C. Maxwell is a noted leadership guru, expert, lecturer. And so he's written a number of books, and Drew quotes him fairly often. He's just very quotable when it comes to a lot of practical things in life, and he does focus an awful lot on leadership and influence. So here's the quote for this evening. When people respect you as a person, they admire you. When they respect you as a friend, they love you. When they respect you as a leader, they follow you. We'll do that one more time. When people respect you as a person, they admire you. When they respect you as a friend, they love you. When they respect you as a leader, they follow you. All right, so this is one of those quotes that sort of builds on itself, right? And talks about different levels of emotions and relationships that associate with those emotional type or those connections we have with people. So let's just start at the beginning, right? Mm-hmm. When people respect you as a person, they admire you. Okay, so sort of, I think the idea behind this quote is that sort of the surface level starting place.
Or people who want to better themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I started to say that's the status quo, but it's not. I wouldn't say most people are admired.
Right.
So he's starting at a level of self-improvement.
Right. And it means something for someone to respect you as a person, right?
Yeah.
So,
but there's no sacrifice in there yet, right? Mm-hmm. You're not investing. So there's no like relationship involved there. And
admiration costs nothing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And in fact, admiration usually comes because the person doesn't really know you that well at all.
Right. And so think about people that you say, hey, I respect this person. Right. So, and just as an individual, right. And sometimes, when you just say, I respect what he's doing there.
Yeah. And we often say, I don't agree with him, but I respect him.
That's true.
You're not even on the same side as this person sometimes.
Well, it's kind of like the office of the president. You may not agree who's up there, but you admire that office. You admire that role. But it doesn't mean that I have to agree or invest in them or anything like that.
Yeah. I find it interesting. Each one of these has a relationship and a goal. Mm-hmm. And so my brain is trying to decide, if I were taking this and really trying to apply this and get somewhere, am I looking at the relationship or the goal? Like, am I saying, okay, what I want more than anything is to be left alone. So I'm going to settle for admiration. I don't want to get too far ahead, so I'm not going to go in. Mm-hmm. But we're about to go into the friendship. So some people are lonely and they want friendship, and the goal is love there. Those two kind of in the middle, this middle one, they go together really nicely.
Yeah. And it's important, and you pointed this out, right, that in each one of these statements, there's respect, right? And so, it's a positive relationship. It's a relationship to be desired. It's certainly not like the first one is a bad thing, right? To be admired. It's just that it's sort of at a more superficial level than, hey, I'm going to follow that person, right? But we don't want to get to that one yet. So let's talk about the second one. When they respect you as a friend, they love you.
And,
all right.
And that's probably top goal for most people.
And we don't see that as the Facebook quote unquote friend.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
no,
yeah,
this
right.
is talking about true friendship.
Mm-hmm.
This is not superficial friendship.
Friendship that involves sacrifices and investment of time and energy. Not getting your way all the time. Looking after the other person more than you're looking after yourself, which that gets into love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And those are good, right? And that may be a stopping point, right, for a lot of relationships, which is good. Now, Maxwell was trying to take us somewhere with this, right? And so, he was saying, all right, but if you want them to, or when they respect you as a leader, they follow you. And, he talks a lot to people who aspire to be leaders. And so, he says things like leadership is influence, and he talks a lot being a servant leader, where you basically exhibit the behavior that people want to follow. So that's a different kind and level of respect that causes someone to want to follow you.
And if I were doing this on a line graph with the X, Y, and the vertical line was closeness. So the vertical line is closeness. The horizontal line is influence. The line would go sharply up from the first relationship of person, respect you as a person, admire you, and go sharply up from that to friend, person to friend, getting closer and closer and closer and gaining influence. But then when you get to the leadership, the line would dive down because you gain a lot more influence, but you lose. I feel like this is what he's saying. You're going to have to lose a little of that closeness that you have with people.
Well, I think the first two things build on themselves a lot. So if you respect a person, it says when people respect you as a person, they're not going to respect you as a friend until they know you as a person and respect you as a person. So to get to respect you as a friend, you have to start out. I mean, when I first moved here, we all went out to Superior Grill. I didn't know y'all from Adam. But after a night, I started to admire y'all a little bit. And then over the next 6 months, year, 2 years, up to now 24 or 5 years, we developed a really, really deep friendship. But it all started out with, these are a couple of really good guys. I admire what they do. I admire their roles. And then I developed a friendship with that. So I went from admiration to loving y'all. I mean, y'all are like family to me now. When you go from that friend to a leader, though, I don't know that builds on the friendship, because being a leader, becoming a leader, a lot of times separates you from, especially not really deep friendships, right? Because when you're a leader, you start having to make some decisions. You don't necessarily want people to love you, but you do want people to follow you.
Yeah. Patrick can probably talk to this. If you work for a large company, there's a very weird phenomenon when you're buddies with a bunch of guys and you're the one who gets promoted.
You become the manager.
Become the manager. And not only you become the manager, but you become the manager of those guys and gals that have been your peer group. And it doesn't necessarily cost you those friendships, but it changes them.
I've even seen that in a small office setting at our office. I mean, I've seen that happen before.
Mm.
Yeah, I think, you said something earlier that I think Maxwell says the whole leadership is influence, not authority. And so figuring out how to, just from a work setting, figuring out how to lead people where you're not telling them what to do is important. You're modeling, we call it modeling the way, setting an example, and, you're kind of teaching them to be self-sufficient in a way, but go along with the vision that the leader has set for whatever's going on, a project or a team or whatever it is.
He talks a lot about servant leadership, right? And the way that you show that you're a leader is by serving others, right? Whether that's equipping somebody, whether that's modeling the behavior that you want out of others. But it's not, he makes it very clear in a lot of what he has to say. There's a big difference between a leader and a manager.
Right.
Right. If you're just managing things, that's a whole lot different than being a leader.
You're just moving paper from one side to the other and checking boxes if you're managing. And sometimes you're micromanaging because you don't know how to lead.
Well, and a title and authority does not necessarily make you a leader. You may have the title and the position of leadership, but having people following you is what makes you a leader. And they only follow you if they respect you. I think back in World War II, you see a lot of these historical references to people would talk about they'd get a new lieutenant or they'd get a new captain that would come in that would be leading their platoon. There was always a grizzled platoon sergeant that the men truly followed.
Yep.
They would follow the man that they had respect for, that they wouldn't necessarily follow the authority, or if they did in name only, but not in action. You just see that referenced a lot in historical movies where they talk about this platoon sergeant or gunnery sergeant or something like that. The men had total respect for him and would follow him into anything. But if a new lieutenant came in who they should be following said, let's go do this, if the respect wasn't there, they'd look to the platoon sergeant and say, all right, are we doing this or not?
Yeah, the smart ones come in and like, who do I have to win over?
That's
and
right.
You win over that platoon sergeant or the equivalent.
Yep.
Yeah. So leadership can be really lonely. To be a leader, you have to have followers, and followers are not exactly, there's a level of friendship there, but they're not friends as equals. And so I think it's really important for leaders to find other leaders to be friends with. And that means maybe going outside the organization. All of my applications are to church life. And I think it's a little bit different in church life. Over the course of this podcast, Tim has become an elder. I don't feel like my relationship to Tim has changed. And some people look at Tim and say, Tim's in charge of Drew's salary, but that's not the way we operate here. I mean,
I do say yes, sir, to him a lot more.
Yeah. So there are exceptions to the rule, but I think in larger contexts, churches are very organic and family oriented, and you're looking at more of, you've got family dynamics in churches. When you talk about broader things, I think leadership can become very lonely. And I've talked to a lot of preachers who feel very much alone in their places. Thankfully, I'm an exception to that where I am. But I've talked to a lot of preachers who are very lonely for this very reason. They want to be people of influence more so than everybody's friend. And so they've, had some tough conversations with some people that have kind of alienated them, or they took a stand for something that wasn't popular, or just they're trying to keep distance because they're they're in a place where there's maybe some pettiness and some jealousy. And if they get too close to one family, then the other families are going to be upset. And that kind of stuff goes on, and that's very destructive to a church. So they just back away from everybody. And I've had preachers tell me, I had one guy I thought was a friend. He told me, he said, Drew, I don't have any friends. I was like, oh, that hurts. I thought I was your friend. But what he was saying is he felt very lonely in his congregation. So, but to have influence, broad influence, you kind of do have to step away from the crowd. So it's very important if you're in a position like that to keep people close to you, maybe from other organizations outside your organization.
Yeah. And since we're talking about the church and leadership, I do agree that, elders are a leadership role, the preacher's in a leadership role in a lot of ways as well. And I think one of the things, and we're talking about a Maxwell quote here. So, y'all know I sort of have love for John Maxwell.
Yeah.
But
a bit of an obsession.
A little bit, slightly obsessed.
Definitely a man crush.
But he says, if you want to be a real leader, and this doesn't mean that like everybody in these roles are real leaders. He says, go to a volunteer organization. If you can lead in a volunteer organization, you're a leader.
And what is a lot of church stuff?
Now, it doesn't mean just, that you, it doesn't mean that you're great at that or whatever, but he means if you're an effective leader in a volunteer organization, you can lead anywhere, right? Because, why? It's obvious, right? If I sign your paycheck or I'm responsible for your raises and your possibility for advancement in the future, then you have a reason other than just my dynamic leadership capabilities to follow me. Well, right. Because I control your level of success to some degree.
Yeah.
But if you have nothing to gain other than what this volunteer organization offers you to follow my leadership, then that's another level of testing leadership.
I want to say it's in one of his books that I read that he talks about if you want to know who the leaders are in your organization, you look to who the people are following. And that does not always necessarily tie into who is truly in the leadership position.
Yeah.
Because people will respect and follow the true leader. And part of that in an organization, like I have a small business, but part of that in my organization is finding the people who the other staff members listen to and going to that person and saying, hey, you have influence and leadership here. I need you to do this. I need you to say these things or do these things. Because if you can figure out who the true leader is by watching who's following and showing respect for him, then you can start to make some change in an organization. And sometimes, I don't know how it is in big corporate world, but I know sometimes you'll get, I joined a practice when I first got out of school. I was green, dumb, and young, and they gave me managing control over this little tiny office in Northeast Alabama. And they had no respect for me, and they didn't care what I said. I went in there with all these grand ideas of we're going to change things. We're going to do it. It was a great lesson on humility and what leadership is not, because I was the green young kid that had no idea what he was doing, and not a person respected me or listened to me. Now, by the time I left that company, I had a little bit of it. But I don't know. I think sometimes we would do a really good job, especially in a volunteer organization. When you start looking to promote inward into leadership, you find people that are people of influence, that people are following, and that's your people that start moving.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that is good at Asheville Road that we've instituted over the last few years, right, is when we talk about the process for appointing elders and deacons, step one in that process is basically an affirmation from the church. right? It begins with a process of nomination, and there's a certain, we say, we set a percentage, right? And we encourage people, hey, we're talking about a percentage here. So get your nominations in. Don't sit on your hands and assume someone else is nominating this person. If you feel like they're qualified for this job, and we talk about the qualifications in the Bible for these roles and go through all that. And then
we're hunting followers.
Right. So,
testing to see who has followers.
Yeah,
right.
Who has influence.
Right. And that becomes step one before, approaching these people. Do you have a desire for this role? Is, this group of people believe that you're a suitable leader for them. And how do people do that? They do it based on, I follow this person already, right? And I respect them, and I'm willing to submit, to their leadership.
And if I'm not mistaken, we don't put up names of people. We just say, think about it, put it down.
Right.
And then we start to worry about, do you meet the qualifications and all of that? But we just look for that role of who the people trust.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, I've been able to, the elders allow me to have a lot of input and stay close with them through these processes with the elders and deacons. And what's interesting, every time so far that we've done this and asked for the congregation's input first, and we tell them we don't count it as an official nomination unless we get 8% of the congregation turn a name in. It's always the people we expect. Always. We have a pretty good idea who's going to be nominated, and it's always those people. And it's really interesting. I always think, is there going to be a surprise in here, somebody that we haven't noticed flying under the radar with influence? No, influence is apparent. You can see it. Especially in a church as small as ours.
Right.
I have a question. So we've talked about the loneliness of leadership. We've talked about servant leadership and sacrifice you have to make. What's in it for the leader? What's the motivation?
Heartburn, stress.
So again, I ask, why would anybody want to be a leader?
Yeah.
Some people have a heart for leading. I do believe, we talk about the parable of the talents. I think leadership is a God-given talent. And I think that's why you have people of influence that do rise to positions of leadership. I mean, sometimes I think in some situations those get bypassed. Sometimes you get somebody, and I'm not talking about at a church, but just in general, that gets promoted that really probably shouldn't be there. And chances are they're not going to make it long. But I think there are some people who have the God-given ability to cast a vision, to speak to people, to influence people, to show care and concern, to be wise.
And they can't help it. Wherever they go, they wind up leading, whether they try or not.
Exactly right.
There's that. And then I also think it has to do with a person's values.
Yeah.
You don't do it for yourself. You don't do it for, you're chasing a goal. You have a higher purpose in life. And, in the church, it's God, of course, and his ways. And the church is not going to survive without leaders. And so you step up and you lead if you can. Because there are things more important to you than your own convenience and even your relationships. I mean, Christ taught some hard things. Anyone who loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Anyone who loves brother or sister more than me is not worthy of me. He comes first. The ultimate leader who died for us, paying the ultimate sacrifice, is telling us, I need leaders, and it's going to cost you. That's why I think that we should do it. That's what's in it for us, is a higher purpose, which there's nothing more important than that.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I guess, why I lead at work anyway. They talk a lot at work when you get invited to things like leadership class or get to talk in front of, I guess, aspiring managers or people they're kind of to your point, they kind of know who's going to be a manager or a director or whatever this leader is before they are. And I do it because selfishly, I want the people I lead to take the things I've done and make them better and go beyond what I could do, what I was either what I was capable of or what the thing was capable of when I was doing it. And by doing that, I know that I'm growing people younger than me into a place where they're going to take over for me when I'm gone, when I retire, not when I'm dead yet, but, and then they're going to take the organization, to that next level that I was just not capable of. And I like watching, the folks on my team do that.
Well, a thing, and it may have been in a Maxwell book or another book I've read on leadership. It talks about training your replacements.
Yep.
You need to have an exit plan. And part of that exit plan is realizing that the corporation, the business, the church, whatever organization it is going to continue on whether you're in leadership or not, but it's helping influence others to get to the point where they care about the growth and the values and the trajectory of that organization. And basically, you learn to work yourself out of a job. A great leader works himself out of the job eventually.
I heard in our leadership class that you're not a leader until you've trained a leader with an asterisk on there who has trained a leader.
Yeah.
Because even after, you step out of whatever role that you were training this replacement into, it's likely you're still there, you're still around, you're still, involved in this person's work or life or whatever. And then now you've got to mentor and lead them to what you just did, replace themselves.
Yeah. That's good.
I mean, I think this is, Patrick, where you're going there about leaders, training leaders. I think when we bring that back to church work, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I think that's really important. Millie and I have been having some discussions at home about like, these are the kind of things old people do, right? But you start talking about like some of the things that we've all done in past years, right? Whether that is, we worked on Vacation Bible School for 25 years, right? And there's been several people who've worked on it since us. We worked in education for a while. We worked with Lads to Leaders for a number of years. We worked with a lot of different things. And you start thinking about not who's doing that work right now, but where's that next group of leaders coming behind the people that have those jobs right now, right? And there's a challenge there, right? And there's some, we've talked about some really good people in our church, but they need to begin that move of coming along for the ride and some of those things. They need to be, those folks who are being trained as leaders by the leaders.
Yep. Because
a church lives by succession planning, right? Because we ask ourselves like, one of the things at Asheville Road is so we've just had our graduation Sunday, right? And Christian is graduating high school, and we talk about next year's graduation Sunday, and it's like, that's half our youth group, or it's a big chunk. It's the biggest chunk that I ever recall at Asheville Road. And you're like, all
Patrick has one in there.
Right. Let's don't talk about that.
I know. But we have that
no
one.
Emotions tonight.
No emotions.
Then we have a few more after that, and a few more after that, and a few more after that. And then we need more youth, right? and there's some in those groups as well, but we hope for more, right? We want to build that, but the same thing happens with those leaders, right? Is there's some of these roles and some of these people, that are in these roles, they'll move to other things, or they'll become elders, or some of them will be called off to move somewhere else or something. We hope not, right? But we want all these folks to stay at Asheville Road. But, all those kinds of things happen. And it's really important in our work, not only to think about doing that work, but bringing someone along for that ride.
Yep.
It is really important to plan it. And I've always thought about this. And when I look back, I think I've had varying levels of success in the things that I've done at Asheville Road, because I've never wanted, and people say this thing to you as a compliment. And I know I've said it on this podcast before, but I'm running out of new things to say. But, they would say, Tim, you're going to have to do this job forever because nobody can ever do it after you've done. And it's like, thanks for saying that. I appreciate it. You're telling me you think I'm doing a good job at this, but
I don't want to do it forever. Yeah.
Right. Number one, I don't want to do it forever. Number two, we all hit a place in things where we begin to, express, either just because there are a number of reasons why you peak and decline at things, and sometimes it's best for somebody else to take it and put new thoughts into it and that kind of thing. But I think sometimes if you just say, if that's it, like, I just want to get out of this job, the real test is, can it exist without you? But not just exist. Can it be better than you left it? So hopefully you leave it in a good place, but you've grown a leader, or you've got so many people involved in it that somebody else can take it and take it to the next level. Yeah. That's real leadership. And like I said, I think things I've done before, varying levels of that, but I think you can see the truth of it. Mm-hmm. And it tells us something about what we need to do. It's not always just about you putting your nose to the grindstone. That's not necessarily the level of success. And you showing your aptitude to do this thing, if you're not helping somebody else get ready to do that job, then there's an aspect of it that you're missing.
Yeah.
Now, one is you got to find that person that has that desire. And sometimes maybe we need to drive harder, a lot harder with folks that we need them, mm-hmm. And really, really push them to the point of being uncomfortable. I need you to come do this with me.
Yeah.
So
I've thought about that we don't do that enough, the pushing. Hey, Patrick, that rule of thumb, you're not a leader until you've trained a leader who has trained a leader, mm-hmm. reminded me of this passage, 2 Timothy 2:2. This is Paul to Timothy. What you have heard from me in the presence of many witnesses, entrust to faithful men who will be able to teach others also. It's the same thing. It's Paul to Timothy, Timothy to his disciples, and then those disciples to others. There's like 4 generations in that. That's the exact principle that you were talking about and that Tim elaborated on. As you were talking, I was thinking, why do we only have these type conversations on a podcast? This should be going on in an elders meeting. This whole conversation should start a program to develop people.
Right.
We got to start talking about doing this, or we're not going to do it.
That's right.
And it needs to go beyond talking. I mean, then we need to move from there and be more. I think it's just about raising awareness and paying attention.
Well, and sometimes it is about creating a little bit of discomfort. I mean, you can observe and see which people have people that follow them. I mean, you can see who influential people are. If you just sit back and watch for a little bit, you can tell who sits there and people gravitate towards them. When you find people that have people gravitate to them, that's when sometimes you have to push them. I wouldn't have done a lot of the things I've done in my life if somebody hadn't pushed me a little bit to do it. I mean, you can push too hard. I mean, you can push them hard enough they go the opposite direction. Mm-hmm. But I think sometimes a little nudge of helping them see their potential. I think a lot of times people don't see their potential. You have to kind of open their eyes to their potential.
Right. And, we all have a tendency, if you have some gifts, right, whatever they may be, sometimes, if you just focus on, I can do this thing, so I'm going to go do it, right? And a lot of times we'll work and overwork ourselves because we can do that thing. And it's not necessarily natural to go look for help or grow a future leader, right? It's a very different idea, right? Because of a couple of things, right? It's going to slow you down.
It's going to feel real slow.
It's going to slow you down. It's going to require you not only to do this work, but to train someone. That's you're taking on another work,
which likely means some rework during the training process.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You're going to have to expect there's mistakes and then use those mistakes to train.
And you have to know that at the end of that, but now you've not only completed this task, you've helped someone grow.
Yep.
And so you've got two things out of this activity rather than one, and nobody's gotten any better but you.
Right.
Right. Or maybe you just got more tired or a little more disgruntled about something, but it's hard to be disgruntled when you are helping someone.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think that's
especially if they want it, if they want to learn what you're doing, or, maybe they're not thinking, oh, I'm going to be the manager one day. They're just thinking, oh, that's a new skill. And if they're eager, it makes it so much easier if they're eager.
right.
Can I, I think we're wrapping up. Can I just beat this horse just a little more?
Sure.
Turn it into the Lulu phase, right?
I think this might be the first time I've done that. When you were talking about the your grizzled platoon sergeant or something along those lines, something that I try to do and is really actually important to me, and kind of parallels what you're talking about. There's this idea of, and I'll borrow from the leaders at where I work. There's this idea of being in the arena with the people, with your people on your team. And I think that's actually a Roosevelt quote from one. Well, was he around when one of the world wars was going on?
Depends on which Roosevelt you're talking about.
Teddy was early World War I.
Okay. Well, anyway, maybe it was Churchill. I don't know. Anyway, talks about being in the arena with your team. And that means, for me, a lot of my team is doing things that I've done before. And I've grown up the way, through the technical paths they're growing up through. But I think about, to me, being a good leader is when the system is down. I mean, in IT, we basically keep the lights on for a lot of functions of a business. When the system is down and it's 1 a.m. and your team is tired and we're all on a phone call and we're just trying to slog through. I mean, I'm on the phone call, right? I'm not necessarily the one typing and clicking and trying to fix things, but I'm there. And I think that's one of the things I try to instill in even the managers that I'm starting to try to train up, however good of a job I'll do there, if you're listening. I'm
sure they are.
Yeah. Is you've got to be in the arena with your team and you've got to slog through whatever it is, even if it's just it just sucks so bad, or you're also there when it's really good. And so when you were talking about finding that platoon sergeant that all the men actually respect, it's because that's the guy who's dragging himself through the mud in front of all those men
and pulling others with him.
Yeah. And so I just think that's a really important part of that third step of being the influential leader is they know you're there for them, no matter how bad it is.
It's a Teddy Roosevelt quote.
Is Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. And I mean, you're right. It is so important that's a kind of behavior that makes people want to follow you, right?
That's how you build influence.
This guy doesn't think he's better than me. Yep. He's in it with me. Mm-hmm. And when things get tough, I know I can count on him. Mm-hmm. And those are the kind of, those leaders are are hard to come by, and people will follow them. That's a great point.
Yep.
Well, have we reached the second hour?
Not quite.
Okay.
Not quite.
I think we are.
We're about an hour and
need
35,
of wrapping up.
yeah.
So we appreciate everybody listening. That was a good conversation about leadership. You never know where these passages are going to take us. So that's a cue for you to subscribe, spread the word.
Lead some other people to passages.
Yes, you do your part, passengers.
Segue.
Lead others to lead others who will also lead others. And pretty soon we can build up a big audience and have this thing go nationwide. But you've been with us from the beginning, and we appreciate it. Appreciate everybody who listens. Stay with us. There's more to come on Passages.
Thanks for joining us on Passages, where faith and friendship and a few food theories collide. If you enjoyed the episode, leave us a rating and review. It helps more than you know. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram @passages_podcast for behind-the-scenes fun and fresh inspiration between episodes.